Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to our weekly Tuesday night live. Welcome, welcome. Good evening. Come in and join me. We're going to get started momentarily. Welcome, welcome. Good evening. We are back here for our Tuesday night live. So let me go over to my Facebook page and make sure that I'm live there. Good evening, daughter Nicole. God bless you. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to our Tuesday night live. I'm going to go over to my page to make sure that we're live there. I don't see it on my page, Nicole. So see if you can share it to my page and to the Power Up Now group as well as the Game Changers. Welcome, welcome. Good evening, Minister Harriet. God bless you. Welcome to Tuesday Night Live. We're back here again as we continue talking about the women of the Bible as we celebrate Women History Month. And so we're going to wait a few seconds for other people to join us. And also, I wanted to make sure that I was live on my personal page as well. So, welcome all. I'm glad that you're here. Invite others to join us and comment and let me know that you're here. Send me some hugs, some love, some kisses, and just, come on in and get ready to hear our short Bible teaching tonight. God bless you all. I am here and I'm waiting to see if I'm showing up live on my page, but welcome. Welcome, daughter Marcella. Welcome. Good to see you here with us tonight. And so we just praise God as our series continue talking about women of the Bible. We've talked about Esther. We brought on a special guest, Apostle Wilkinson, and she talked about Ruth. We also talked about Queen Esther, Ruth, and there was someone else that we talked about last week. If you could post that in the chat. But tonight we're going to talk about Hannah. And so I want to make sure that you turn over to First Samuel, the first chapter, the 17th verse. First Samuel, the first chapter, the 17th verse. Good evening. Welcome, Minister Darlene. Welcome, welcome. And so tonight we're going to look briefly at the power of persistence. The power of persistence. As we look at these mighty women of God, these women of faith, these women of tenacious faith, unstoppable faith, these women who were determined to get what God had for them. They were determined to fulfill their calling and to live on purpose. Do I have any determined women with me tonight? God bless you, Tamika. I received my beautiful necklace in the mail. I'm going to post it tomorrow and share it with my friends and family. I just love, love, love. Thank you so much. She has some outstanding jewelry, and you want to connect with her, and she has a page where you can actually shop with her as well. And so I'm in the birthday mode, as you know. Next Saturday, April the 3rd, Saturday before Easter, we're going to be at Rudy's Cafe in Great Northeast, and we're going to be celebrating with a drive-by birthday celebration and a soft launch of the new Rudy Cafe. And so I'm so excited. I hope that I can sustain the stamina that is required to run the race and to finish strong as I cross over into a new year, a new beginning, a set time of blessings, a set time of increase, a set time of a new season. The seasons have changed. And so it's going to require determination. It's going to require persistence. If you know that God has ordained something for your life, if you know that you know that you know that you are destined for a particular thing, for a particular place, for a particular person, for a particular purpose, it's going to require determination. And added to determination, it's going to require persistence. And added to persistence, it's going to require discipline. And adding to discipline, it's going to require sacrifice. Okay. So we are here tonight to support one another, to encourage one another, to strengthen one another as we celebrate women during this time of celebration, this time of history. And we're looking at some powerful women in the Bible in the book of Samuel, First Samuel, in the 17th chapter, First Samuel, just chapter 1, verse 17. Let me turn there. Hannah was persistent. Hannah was determined. Hannah was laser focused. Hannah was disciplined. Hannah was faithful. Hannah was loyal. Hannah was an intercessor. Hannah was a prayer warrior. And Hannah was determined to fulfill her calling, determined to fulfill her destiny. And my God, when God opened her womb and blessed her, out came the mighty, mighty prophet of God, the first prophet in the Old Testament, Samuel. Hannah gave birth to Samuel. But let's just go back a little bit, because when you birth something out in the earth realm that you've been waiting for, when you birth something that you've been crying for, when you birth something that you've been just interceding and fasting and praying about and seeking God for it, when you birth something that's been long overdue, that birthing process is about to break open something that's never been seen, never been heard, and never been told before. It's beyond your imagination. See, this is the thing that I know to be true. When there is a delay, it does not mean denial, but in essence, it means that God is doubling down for the takedown. God is backing up you with all of heaven and earth so that you can go forth and give birth to something that is greater than the pain that you had to endure, something that is greater than the pain that you had to go through. When you're about to birth something that's been on hold back, been on lockdown, okay, that's been forced to stay back, when you've been denied, you've been delayed, you've been laughed at, you've been talked about. Come on now, I know I'm talking to somebody tonight other than myself. When you have held on to the word of God, when you have held on to his promises, when you believe God against all odds, and yet you remain faithful, and yet you hold on and stand on the promises of God, that's when God shows up and shows out. Mm. I know that to be true tonight. When your vision dies and it has yet to manifest, God is still a God that he will not lie. And if God said it, God will do it. And so let's look at First Samuel chapter 1, verse 17. Then Eli answered, he's answering Hannah. Eli the priest said to Hannah, the woman in distress, the woman in denial, the woman who had to hold back and fight back opposition, the woman who had to go against criticism, the woman who was an outcast because she could not give birth to her vision, the priest said and answered her, "Go in peace, and the God of Israel grant your petition which you have asked of him." I want to say to someone tonight, I want to encourage someone tonight for you to know that God is faithful. Let's go back a little further. Let's go up a few more scriptures before verse 17 so we can get a little bit of a backdrop of what Hannah had been going through. Then her husband said to her, "Hannah, why do you weep?" So here we see we have a weeping woman. She's a married woman, but she's a weeping woman. Okay. And to be married means that there's a sense of security, there's a sense of fulfillment. But her husband said to her, "Why are you weeping? Why are you groaning and moaning? Why is your heart grieved? Am I not better than 10 sons?" So the husband recognized that Hannah was in a bad way. She was in a state of bitterness. Someone post that. She was hurt. She was moaning. She was groaning. She was in a weeping stage. She was in a grieving stage. And by now, the hurt, the grief, the pain had turned into bitterness. So Hannah rose up after she finished. We're down to the next verse. After she finished her meal and her conversation with her husband, she rose up and she went to visit the priest. And the Bible says in the next verse that she was in bitterness of her soul. So this is a woman who is, her back is up against the wall. It's been a long time coming. You know that song by Sam Cooke? It became a civil rights song entitled "A Change is Coming," but it's a long time coming. And so she was looking for her change. She was needing a change. She wanted a change. She wanted to give birth. She wanted to have a son for her husband. And it had been a long time coming. And so she was bitter in her soul because the promise had not yet manifested. And so we look in the verse a little further down, and it says that Hannah prayed to the Lord. I need some praying women tonight. Hannah prayed to the Lord. The scripture says that she wept in anguish. So she didn't go with a cute little prayer. She had to go beyond Psalms 23, the Lord is my shepherd. She had to go above and beyond Psalms 91, where she's hiding in the safety and the security of the Lord. She had to go deep down in her soul where the seed of bitterness had been planted. She had to go and weep and moan and groan and cry and pray and intercede and fast because it was painful for her, because she had endured this process of humiliation, of embarrassment, of the lack of fulfillment. She had wept unto the Lord many of nights and many of days. She was out of sorts to the point that her husband said, "What is the problem? Am I not good to you? Am I not enough for you?" How many women have a desire that goes beyond their husband? Okay. How many women have a desire that goes beyond their children? How many women have a desire that goes beyond their parents, their mother's mother, their father, and their father's father? How many people have a desire that goes beyond generational desires? Okay, I need someone who understands where I'm coming from. Maybe, mama had, but you want something different and you want something more. Maybe daddy had, but it wasn't enough for you and you needed more and you needed a little bit more to hold on to feel that sense of comfort, to feel that sense of security, to feel the sense of fulfillment. How many women want something that you can't even talk about it any longer, but you hid it in your heart. It's hidden in your heart of hearts. It's hidden deep down that nobody can touch it but God. Well, this is the state that Hannah found herself in. She wanted a son like nothing else. She wanted to give birth to a son for her man of God. She wanted that more than she wanted life. How do I know? Because when you get to a place of bitterness, you've already given up on life. Oh, I'm talking to somebody tonight. When you cave into bitterness and hurt, resentfulness and jealousy, you've already given up on life. You don't see a way out of no way. You can't find the will in the middle of the will. Oh my God. You can't see the breaking of a new day. You can't see the dawning of a new day. You don't see the light in the dark. You can't find the hand of the Most High God. You don't see God nowhere in it. This is the state that we find Hannah in tonight. And in some cases, this is the state of the world that we're living in today. They can't see God. Some of them can't hear God. Some of them want to know God and they can't find God. Some of them are blinded by the cares of the world. Some of them are totally defeated by addictions, by the lust of the flesh. Some of them are defeated in their minds by their mindset, their stinking thinking, the negativity that they constantly feed their souls. They can't see the glass half full because the glass is half empty. They're married, but yet they're not satisfied. They have a job, but yet they're not fulfilled. They're in ministry, but don't have a clue. They want God, but they can't find God. And so they get into a rut and they get stuck. But Hannah said, not me. No, not now. Not as long as I have breath in my body. And so Hannah was determined and Hannah was persistent so much that when she prayed, she was just in the heavenly realm, on such a heavy realm of prayer and intercession, that the priest thought that she was drunk. She was misunderstood. She was miscalculated. She was perceived out of her character. She was moved beyond just settling for business as usual. She was tired of being sick and tired. She was tired of not being fulfilled. She was tired of being overlooked and rejected. She was tired of not having her own child, her own vision, her own place, her own home, her own money, her own voice. She was tired. So that meant she had to do something that she'd never done before. Because if you keep doing the same thing, women of God, women of faith, if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same results. And so Hannah said, oh, enough of this madness. Hannah made up in her mind that she had had enough. Hannah decided to take destiny in her own hands. Hannah decided to do something she had never, ever done before, to get something that she had never, ever had before. Hannah was tired. Okay, Hannah wanted more, but yet she remained faithful. She was faithful to God. She was faithful to her husband. And above that, she was faithful to herself. See, I know some women who are faithful to their husbands, but they're not faithful to themselves. They don't take care of themselves. They don't honor themselves. They don't love themselves. They put the man on a pedestal and he could do no wrong. They don't save enough for them and their self-esteem and their self-confidence. They don't take care of themselves so that they're pleasing first to themselves, let alone the world. But Hannah did something that she had never, ever done before, to move the hand of God. She had had enough, and she had served notice to every roadblock, to every opposition, to every obstacle, to every hater, to every liar, to every backstabber, to every fake person, that change had come. And it was time to take it by force. And so I want you to ask me, what did Hannah do that she had never done before? I need someone to post that tonight. What did Hannah do that she had never done before? Somebody asked me that question before I answer it. What did Hannah do that she had never done before? Somebody asked me that question. How did she change the game for all my game changers tonight? Okay, I see Dana asking, what did Hannah do? Come on, you the only one that want to know, Hannah. You're the only one want to know, Dana, what Hannah did. Is there anyone else that want to know what did Hannah do that she had never done before? Oh, I see Pastor Karen. Pastor Karen wants to know, what did Hannah do that she had never done before to get God to do what he had never done before? Come on now. There's nobody besides Dana and Pastor Karen. What did Hannah do? That's the question. Okay. I got three now. I got Nicole. Oh, come on now. I got Darlene. What did Hannah do that she never done before to get something that she never had before that will move God to do something he never did before? I'm so glad you asked me, Marcella. I want you to go now and look at verse 10. And this is what Hannah did. And she was in bitterness of soul and prayed to the Lord and wept in anguish. Here it comes in verse 11. Then she made a vow and said, O Lord of hosts, if you will indeed look on the affliction of your maidservant and remember me and not forget your maidservant, but will give your maidservant a male child, then I will give him to the Lord all the days of his life, and no razor shall come upon his head. Hannah made a vow unto the Lord. I feel the spirit of grace tonight. She made a vow unto the Lord. She made a vow unto the Lord. She did something that she had never done before to get something that she never had before, to move God to do something that he'd never done before. She made a vow. She made a vow unto the Lord. And she said to the Lord, if you would bless me with a male child, I would dedicate that child to you. I would give it back to you for all the days of his life. She made a vow. She made a promise. She made a commitment. And God saw her heart. Come on now. He saw her heart and he answered. And she gave birth to prophet Samuel. And Samuel was the leader of all leaders in the Old Testament. He was the first prophet of the nation. He was a chief advisor to kings and military captains. He started the first school of the prophets. So you see here where God gave her double for all of her trouble because she made a vow. And so I petition you tonight, if you're in need of something that no man can give you, that only God can give you, I petition you tonight to make a vow unto the Lord. If you want something that you've never had before and you have no way of making it happen, you know you're not qualified for it to happen. You know you don't have the capacity for it to happen. You don't have the time. You don't have the money. You don't have the resources. You don't even have enough sense to know how to make it happen. I submit to you tonight that you make a vow to the Lord, that you build an altar and you go in with your weeping, moaning, groaning, submissive surrender, lay low before God, push back on all of the flesh, sacrifice your time, sacrifice your prayers, and make a vow unto the Lord. And not only did the Lord answer her prayers, and not only did he bless her with a son, but he blessed her with the first judge, the first prophet, the first chief advisor, a man full of wisdom and insight and strategy, a prophet of God who created the first school of the prophets. He was a leader of leaders. And so tonight, I find hope, I find encouragement when I look at Hannah, and I'm reminded about how faithful God is. It doesn't matter how long it takes for the promise to be fulfilled. What matters is how long you will stay in the race to be fulfilled. What matters is not your head knowledge and how much you know and where you go and how much you got going on online and offline. God looks at the heart. God deals with heart issues, your attitude, God deals with core values. Who do you honor? Who do you respect? Who do you obey? Who do you listen to? God deals with the heart. And so man judged her as a drunk woman, as a crazy woman. Man judged her because she was about to give birth to something that had never been seen in the earth before. And so there was much for her to endure. There was a long journey. There was a long process that she had to go through. She was misunderstood. She was disrespected. She was criticized. She was talked about. She was judged. Oh, God. Yes, she was judged. And all the time, God was working in her a supernatural encounter that would cause her to be drunk in the spirit and give birth to the first judge, the first prophet, the first chief advisor for kings and nations and military captains. Oh my God. God had positioned her. God had postured her through this veil of intercession and weeping and moaning through this painful walk. I'm reminded of the great man in Africa. What was his name? That he was in prison for 27 years for crimes that he didn't even commit. What was his name? Nelson Mandela. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I'm reminded of Nelson Mandela. He went in unjustly. He was crucified and jailed for 27 years for just being a man of integrity and a man of character and being a leader that cared about his people. But when he came out and he walked that long road back home, he ultimately became the president of the country. Don't tell me God can't flip the script. Don't tell me God can't give you a miracle. Don't tell me God can't turn it around. Don't tell me God can't be the light in the darkness. Oh my God. He's a promise keeper. He's a way maker. He's a miracle worker. And so God is faithful, but you have to be persistent. But you have to be loyal. But you have to have an ear to hear. But you have to have a heart to receive. You have to be willing to pray. You have to be willing to intercede. You have to be willing to be misunderstood and judged, characterized, and put in and called every name, but the child of God. Okay. Thank God for women of the Bible to show us a more excellent way to hold on, to believe God, to trust God, to love God, no matter what and no matter who. Do I have any takers tonight? Is anyone willing and ready to make a vow unto the Lord? I'm making my vow to the Lord. I have some things on the altar, and Hannah showed me the way for manifestation tonight. So I hope and pray that this word has blessed you tonight. If you're going to stand in agreement with me, then please post, I make a vow unto the Lord. That vow is going to be personal for you. My vow is my vow, and your vow is your vow. But you need to do something that you've never done before. You have to be willing to make a sacrifice. You have to be willing and ready to go to the altar and lay it down at the altar. Some of us need to make a financial vow. Some of us need to make a physical vow. Some of us need to make an emotional vow. Some of us need to make a relationship vow. Whatever it is, name it, write it down, pray over it, intercede, and claim it. I thank God for Hannah, who didn't give up and she didn't give out. She was willing to stay to the end. She was persistent. She was determined. She was faithful. She was loyal. She was single minded. She was focused. She was steadfast. She was rock steady. She was all of that. And it moved God to do something that He'd never done before. He sent a prophet to the land. He sent a judge to the people. He sent an advisor to the kings. He sent wisdom to the earth. He sent strategies. He sent insight. He sent wealth. He sent understanding, all wrapped up in the thing that Hannah gave birth to, her son, Samuel. So, women of God, when we make this vow, it's not just for us, but it's for the next generation as well. This is a generational vow that we're going to commit ourselves to as we finish up this first quarter of 2021 and we get ready for the second quarter. The season has changed. And so don't get left behind in the old because you're stuck on the old. Get ready to move forward. Get ready to pick up momentum. And some of you will even need to change the pace for the race. I know we've been in a shutdown mode and we still have restrictions, but I'm talking about mental adjustments. I'm talking about soul centered adjustments. I'm talking about emotional adjustments and shifts. I'm talking about getting steadfast and stable, getting still so that you can hear the voice of the Lord, so that you can be a sheep that will know His voice, catch this, and not follow another. There are many winds that are blowing in the world, and there are many wolves out to eat the sheep. And so you need to be discerning as well as disciplined. I need someone to post that. Discerning as well as discipline. You need to stay close to the altar of God. You need to stay close to the heart of God so that you don't get full of the world, so that you don't get full of yourself, so that you don't get full of other people voices and other people plans and other people mindsets and other people misery and other people misadventures, so that you don't misstep and mishap and fall into a snare that you cannot get yourself out of. Because even though some things are going down, some things are going up. And then some things are going around. So be discerning as well as disciplined. Be wise as a serpent and harmless like a dove. Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't get ahead of God. Don't get caught up with the press reports. Don't get caught up with yourself, but trust God and stay with God. Stay the course and be found faithful because we serve a faithful God. I am moved by God to just do something that I've never done before, to get something that I've never had before. And so I thank God that I got a group of women that are going to stand in agreement with me, that's going to stand in the gap. Even if you're not making a vow, we ask that you pray. But we want to get our vow and our seed in the ground before March rolls out of here, before this quarter ends. Because there's some new things on the other side. I see it. I know it. I can taste it. And you need to be ready for it. You need to be prepared. You need to be discerning as well as disciplined. Sow your seed, make your vow. We have good news. We are now set up with Givelify. And so you can download that new giving app on your phone, Givelify. We've been verified and it's a set thing. It's done. And so now you can give any place, any way by the online app. Download it on your phone and it's called Givelify. Givelify. It's going to make it very easy for you to get your vow, your seed. It's going to make it very easy for you to sow and to partner with us. We're stretching out in a new land. We're about to enter into our land of milk and honey, of open doors and open gates and open portals. And so I'm about to make my vow. Get ready to complete your vow by March 31st at the latest and give, sow, make a vow, make a promise to the Lord, and then don't break it. Give and watch God give back to you. Open up the windows of heaven that you will not be able to have room enough for the blessings that He has for you. I hope that you encouraged tonight. My heart is stirred. I'm not going to be here long before you because I'm going to continue in my own prayer time. I hope that you are feeling a sense of empowerment. I hope that you would be like Hannah and be faithful and be found faithful. For God shall grant you the petitions of your heart. I love you. God bless you. Look forward to seeing all of you that are local on Saturday, April the 3rd, 12 to 3 for our drive-by celebration and the soft launch of Rudy's Cafe. It's going to be an exciting time. And it's going to be a place that we will do future events. We're going to be renting it out for baby showers and wedding showers and weddings. It's an elegant place. It's a beautiful place. You're going to love it. And so if you have a special occasion, come on over to Rudy's Cafe in the event place, and we'll be there to serve you. Know that I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. God bless you. Shalom.